notifications.
And I read the thing, so yeah, I don't curse on LinkedIn. I know it's a rule, so yeah, I know that.
All right, guys, we are live. We are live on LinkedIn and Facebook. We are multi-streaming with Jonaed. Thank you so much from No Degree for being here with us today. Yeah. How are you? So, hold on a second, really quick. Let me add you to the video really quick and make sure that we're both on it. Hold on.
I'm just waiting for this notification. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Live notification has been like wonky, so it's smart that you guys do like the email notification.
Okay. Oh yes, I do. You don't have notification when you go live?
Sometimes it's wonky. Like I'm not getting this one.
Interesting. So what I'm doing right now to go live. So guys, if you are connecting with us, we're waiting for some people to connect with us. I'm with Jonaed. We're going live. We're talking about entrepreneurs.
Jonaed.
I am so sorry, Jonaed.
No, don't. Everyone gets it wrong.
My name is Virgie, so that really gets messed up all the time.
No, your name is the bad realtor. Like the bad. I can't curse, but that's your name.
You can. It's the badass realtor. It's all
yeah, that's you. Okay,
because cool. Badass isn't a bad word. I don't really think it is. If it's a
word
that
it's a powerful word.
That's exactly why I use it, because I feel that it's an extremely empowering word. It's something that I use on days that I feel like really just like not like such a badass, you know. And I say it over and over again, so I can. So yes.
No, that's good. You got to do what you got to do.
We do. So we are here live. We're talking about entrepreneur life, and the struggle is real. A lot of people have been going live and talking about like how they're feeling stuck, and they're working on personal branding, and they're trying to find jobs, and what do they need to do? And I was actually noticing a link between personal branding and people trying to find jobs, and noticing that people really should be focusing and getting laser focus on what it is who they are while they're doing that. What do you think?
100%. I think the greatest amount of growth I've ever had as an entrepreneur is when I've realized like who I was, what I was good at. Because the fact is, you talk to 10 people who are great and successful, and you ask them for advice, you'll probably get like 6 different pieces of advice. And not all of them are probably correct, but they may not be correct for you. Like, for example,
is key. What you just
for me specifically, one thing that I tell you see, because it was fight, but the fact is, it's like, look, I
think your audio is going out, or we're a little bit. We lost.
Is it better?
It's better. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Try again.
Yeah.
Are you there? Okay, perfect. All right, keep on going. It's buffering just a little bit. So, but yeah, keep on going, and we'll hear what you got to say. Now? Yes, I hear you now.
No, now you're buffering. Okay. Sorry, I'm staying at a doesn't have.
Oh, so maybe it's a connection. Aw. I can't hear you. And I know you have so much knowledge to be throwing down right now. You want to try getting off and getting back on? I think it's your connection.
Hold. Can you things? Let me.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So he's going to try to set his connection.
Again?
It's still buffering really, 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 really bad. So it's really hard to actually see you, but I'm going to continue. So I think what we're talking about is getting laser focus on who you are so that you can actually, and while you're buffering, can you speak, Jonaed? I think it looks good right now. Why don't you try? Can you talk? No, we're out. Okay. So what we're talking about is Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Perfect. I mean, go ahead. Keep talking. I'm closing out like 30 times.
Go ahead. Do your thing. So we're just talking about the entrepreneurship. Struggle is real. Everybody trying to find themselves. And what I noticed is a connection. So I was listening to someone talking on LinkedIn. They were actually giving advice for people looking for jobs. And I am an entrepreneur, and I'm not really looking for a job right now. But what she said really meant a lot to me, because she says, I am a jack of all trades. Okay. And I do a lot of stuff. And I was putting myself out there, but I was spreading myself too thin and I wasn't getting laser focused. So I really thought this was a really good time to figure out what it is that I wanted, because as I created as an entrepreneur, the work or life that I wanted, I needed to make sure it wasn't something I needed to back out of. I needed to make sure I was creating something that I actually wanted to create for myself. So I thought, like, people looking for jobs, I think we get into that mindset where everybody is like, it's like a scarcity mindset, or you're working because you need the money and you're chasing it, and you're chasing it in a different way. But now that you're at scratch, I think it's a really good time for people to try to figure out what it is that they want to do. Because when you actually chase that job and you get it, what happens when you get it and then you hate it? And then you got to start all over again, you know?
No. So can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, yes. Good, perfect. So, you know, one thing I made a mistake early on as an entrepreneur is I wasn't laser focused. Because the thing is, as you're growing a business, and I'm not looking for funding, so it's like I have to go bootstrap. It's like you want to do a little bit of everything, right? You want to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I found out by focusing on fewer things and focusing on the things I'm good at, I was able to do those things well. And then once those things take off and you have more resources, now you can spend money on this and you can spend. So I tell people, outsource, like, obviously work on your weaknesses, but double down on your strengths. It's like, that's
absolutely
what will set you apart.
That is huge, because if you're just focusing on your weaknesses, a lot of people can get over analysis paralysis, like all those limiting beliefs. So let me ask you, when did you get LinkedIn? Because you've had LinkedIn Live for quite some time, right?
No, I've had it for like 2 months.
Really?
I got LinkedIn Live.
So you're just going all in. I see you all the time.
September 12th was when I first got LinkedIn Live.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think since then, I did over 80 hours.
Wow. Okay, so you were working a normal job, and what made you decide to just like, I'm gonna go all in on me?
You know what the thing is? So I found no degree. I found the website. I bought the domain in 2013, right? And at first it's always like an idea, like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and then like I was really passionate about it, but eventually after like years of learning and reading, I had the business. My goal was to always do it full time, but I didn't know exactly how. And I didn't come from like a wealthy family, so it's like I went to college, got a job, and all that. But eventually, it's like once I figured out the business model, once I figured that, I used to spend all my free time. The thing is, I used to be an actuary. So actuaries, they take exams, and the exams take like 100 to 300 hours of studying. That's how you get promoted and you get your raises. Wow. You do insurance prices. It's a lot of math. So
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So what happened was, typically you study outside of work, and they give you like a week or two extra to study, but usually you need to do outside of that, study after work.
So you have to be extremely self-motivated. You
have to be self-motivated and disciplined. At some point, motivation can only do so much. You just have to do it.
So do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Yes, 100%. I've always been it. Like, I've always found ways to just do things, and that's what excites me. And I always look at the patterns and I can identify things. But eventually I came to a point where, as an actuary for the job, you have to pass an exam every 18 months.
Wow.
Right? That's the rule. So the fact is, I was like, all right, I can spend 300 hours on an exam for a career that I don't hate, but I don't love. Or I can spend 300. Yeah. It wasn't fueling me. It wasn't fulfilling. Or I could spend 300 hours into my business, and it was like a no-brainer. So then eventually, I worked another job just to pay the bills, and eventually, I saved up enough. I cashed out my retirement, and I was like, look, I'm going all in.
So so that you are definitely an entrepreneur. So I actually think the word entrepreneur has gotten very. Yeah, hold on a second. I lost a little bit. Hold on a second. I don't see us. 1 second.
Yeah. I mean, I see us on LinkedIn Live.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that we're both on video. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So I think entrepreneurs has become like a buzzword. I mean, everyone's watching. I mean, I'm sure you watch GaryVee, and he's talking about that, and it's like a very sexy to be an entrepreneur now.
It's not.
But it's really not, and that's the truth. I mean, the thing is, it's not. If you're an entrepreneur, you know it. It's like this thing that you have inside. It's something that you cannot turn off.
And I tell people, because a lot of people are like, I want to be my own boss. And it's like, look. The thing is, it's very different like how I do. Like, it's not a 9 to 5 where you just leave. It's like I spend a lot of time reading. Like, my hobby isn't Netflix. My hobby isn't watching reality TV, right? My hobby is like outside reading, talking to other people, going to networking events. And for some people, they don't want that, and it's okay. You know, it's a trade-off of what you value in life, what stage you are at your life. But you know, at like even right before this call, I was on a call with another entrepreneur, and we're talking different businesses, and he was giving advice because he did something similar, and then I was like, hey, this is how you can do something. And then I think what I do, I was like, even before his call, I was like uploading a podcast episode to my podcast editor. So it's like all these things. It's like you always have to be thinking.
Practitioner, always. Like you never, and you don't turn it off, and it's because no one's asking you to turn it on.
Yeah. And the fact is, it's like I wake up and it's like, so now even though I wake up late, like when I wake up, I take my shower and I'm going like that. Like I'm starting my day. It's like I don't eat breakfast. Dietary reasons too, it helps, but it also like mentally, it's like I'm always in a rush in the morning, and
I do the same thing. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm actually trying to work on work-life balance. So my other thing, when you first got it, was it hard for you to get started with video, or did you just go all in? Like, what limiting thoughts did you have? Or
no, I mean, so I'm not a perfectionist at all. So for me, it's like I say perfect. The quote is, it's not my quote, but perfect is the enemy of the good. And that's a quote like that. Because oftentimes we have this perfect idea in our heads, but a perfect idea that's never executed, a good idea beats that any day.
That is right? so true.
And you know, analysis paralysis gets like people who are brilliant, but they're just like, oh, it has to be a certain way. It has to be this. I have to have the highest level mic. I have to have the best mic. And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's like, focus on the value and improvise and get better as you go on. So it's
get it done. You grow in the doing. I mean, honestly, with LinkedIn Live, I had it for like probably maybe a month before I actually did anything with it, because I was a little intimidated by it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to mess up like 100 times. And then after that 100 times, I'm going to own it. And then I'm going to be an expert. So a lot of things people talk about is bringing value and what is valuable. And or am I an expert enough to be giving this type of value? And what is your feeling about that?
So a lot of people think you have to be an expert to give value, but a lot of times share your own experiences of how you overcame things, share your own experiences of how you did some things. You'd be surprised. It's like, as long as you can provide, and a lot of times, as long as you can provide value to one person, that's the best way, especially to get started. Don't think, oh, how can I help 100 people? Like, even when I made my joke post, I was like, look, I think I could get 5 people to laugh. And, you know, now it got like 500 likes. I didn't intend for it, but it's like, if I went with the intention, like, oh, I need to get hundreds of likes, then you overthink it. You try to craft the perfect message, perfect word choice, and you just never end up doing it. I just think of something, I do it good enough, and you know, my post will have typos, other people correct me, and I edit it and all that stuff, but who cares?
Who cares? Just get it done. You know, there's this thing called imperfect, okay? Imperfect is I am perfect. And I love that. I read that somewhere, so it's not mine, but I love that one. So it's really about just, you know, course correct, stay the course with definitive purpose, and course correct as you move forward. So do we have any questions? I wonder if there's anybody in here. I want to make sure.
Yeah, we have just hellos. I mean, look, I think people just observing the conversation, but feel free to ask us.
Yeah, I don't know. Guys, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. We're happy to ask them. But I have more questions for you. How do you balance it all? Are you just like do you balance it all? Like,
no, 100%. I make, so what a lot of people don't get is I integrate my life to different things. So now look, I don't mind when people are late, because when people are late, I'm on LinkedIn. In between this, while I'm waiting for something, I'm on LinkedIn. So it's not like I have to craft and I can't do things because of LinkedIn. I integrate, like as an entrepreneur, it's more like work-life integration.
Oh my God, that's so funny that you said that. So with me, it's like my family. I'm always bringing my kids with me, and always. So it's funny because I was talking to Judy Fox, and she's on here too. Fox. And Fox Rocks.
Fox Rocks.
We were talking about like work-life balance, and she said it. She's like, so my kids there. She's like, oh, I do the same thing. That's awesome. And she's like, work-life integration, and you nailed it, because it's not about, the thing is work is here. Work is everywhere we go, so we can take it with us. But but taking it with us is a bad thing, but not if you can actually bring those experiences and elevate those experiences. Like my kids see me working and they have a respect for that.
Yeah. So like I hang out with my nephew. He's 11.
That's awesome.
So we've been hanging out since he was 3 months old, whatever, right? But what I do is on the weekends, like when I'm working, I'll bring him to my work meetings and I'll ask him things. And for one podcast, he was like recording the video. You know, he messed up once. He forgot to press record once. But you know, it's good. It's like these type of things. It's like you learn, because then I was like, oh, I should have a process. I should have told him press record, right? And then he's like,
you learn by teaching people. That's when you learn you need processes and systems, and when you start teaching others.
And then awesome. So I'll tell him like, hey, you know, I'll ask him questions to get him thinking, because a lot of times kids, you just have to ask them. So I'll tell him like, hey, what should I name my podcast? Like, what should I do before I name my podcast? And he was like, duh, go on Apple Podcasts to see if the name's taken. You know, so it's like I want him to like think that stuff.
That's cool though. I think that because like you have this thing with the normal traditional school system and not needing a degree, and you really highlight that there's other companies out there that are actually hiring people with no degrees. Now, I'm a mom and I'm kind of like in between, because I couldn't get a degree in what I have, because at the time that I started on the internet, it did not exist. There were no classes, and a lot of the stuff like marketing, like let's say somebody goes to school for marketing and you spent money on a college degree for marketing. If you have not marketed a product online, and you don't know how it works, you really don't know how it works in the real world. So you're just starting out. So somebody who's actually hustled and done it actually has more experience, who's just got out of college. So tell me a little bit more about your project. Is that something that you're really all in on, or are you just doing consulting for other people? Like, what is it?
No, I'm all in. Like, no degree is my life. That's my thing. I mean, I do stuff alongside it in the sense of I do resumes for people. I provide career advice, but that fits into the brand. And that by doing that, I also see the issues people face, because since I'm not looking for a job, but I have to know the issues people face and how things are changing in the job industry, how interviews are changing. Now they have like a lot of AI driven interviews with the video thing. So I have to like stay on top of that and provide advice like, hey, how do you nail this? Right? A lot of the principles stay the same, but the details change. So it's like, it's good. And it allows me, whatever, I make some money off that, because the thing is, when you're growing a company, it's like you have to like be smart about it, because I don't want funding, because one of the reasons people always ask me, I go to pitch events and they say, hey, why don't you pitch? I was like, look, I don't want funding. And they're like, why? And I said, look, if I get funding, what happens is I really care about the mission, because my mission is helping those without college degrees. And what happens is when you go for funding, they're like, hey, you need to make X amount of money in 7 years, and everything's driven towards that goal. And there's some things I do. Like my podcast episode, I give so much away for free. I don't have ads on my podcast. So if you told an investor that, they're going to be like, what? No, you have to put ads. You have to do this. People have to pay to be on your podcast. I care about
immediate ROI. They don't understand the growth marketing. They don't understand brand equity. So this is an interesting thing for me, because I'm a little bit older than you. And I've had a lot of startups. I've been an entrepreneur from when it wasn't really cool. I absolutely.
They're sharks. They're sharks.
They're sharks. So I have done it, but I've always been self-funded. I've self-funded all my projects up until maybe about, I did one in like 2016 that it was the first time I ever got partners involved. And you know, there's this book that you should read, Richard Wolpert, and it's called Soul of a Deal. And it's a lot about tech deals. And a lot of my deals some were tech and some weren't. But if you just dig down deep and you realize the core of the deals and how they were structured, you need to structure a deal that's win-win. And a lot of the time, if you're going to an investor when you're when you're not ready, or when you haven't done a lot of R&D, or you're not ready to scale, it's bad. And there's two ways. It's bad in a few ways. You get somebody who's not in alignment with you, and then your passion now becomes a job, or you get huge funding. You get a nice fat, and then now you just start throwing money at all this stuff. And not sometimes, as an entrepreneur, you learn to run businesses very lean. We're working side hustles. We don't throw a lot of money into it. So we do a lot of R&D. So that, I think even big companies lose, and they should actually take an entrepreneurial mindset to stuff, because you can actually run a better company
100%. I see it all the time because one of the things I would say that's lacked in the startup community, you go everywhere. Oh, even in pitch competition. Oh, what's your exit opportunity? What's this? It's always that. It's never like people tell me. I'll say, look, I'm never selling my company. Like my goal is to never sell because this is my company. Look, maybe I might not be doing as much, but
they want to know where your exit strategy is and when they're getting paid usually. So yes, if you have a passion, turning it into a business, you need to be very strategic at what points you do that, because you don't want to lose control. That's something from experience that I've had where I've had companies and you give too much too early and you end up having too much control, and then you lose the whole vision. And then as an entrepreneur, it's not even about money at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's
because look, if I have enough to sustain myself and some extra, that's fine. Like, what's the difference whether you're making $2 or $3 million? Like, what's the real difference?
What's the real difference? Right? No,
at some point, it's like,
I've been in rooms with people that have so much money and they're very, very unhappy. They go after a goal and they get it, but then they don't set another goal for themselves, or they're not helping, or they don't have a purpose, so they just feel like, So really aligning yourself with that purpose is so, so huge. So what is next for you? So like 2020 for me is the year of clarity, 2020 vision. I feel like this whole year we've been all doing a lot of personal branding. We've been doing that hustle and a lot of personal growth. A lot of people are talking about like, how do we monetize it? What do we do next? Like, what is next for you in 2020?
Honestly, I'm just going to triple down on LinkedIn, just keep on. So the thing is, I didn't expect to have like a live show. It's just I approved. So let me tell you why I really started getting on video. So I did like a video here and there. I mean, I'm not a big video guy, whatever. And I don't even prep my videos. Like I don't do my hair. I don't do any of that. It's just like sometimes
people say, hey. Your hair looks so good.
Yeah, today, not the other days. And so like the video, like, I did one or two because I saw a video got engagement. And someone said, like, I applied for LinkedIn Live. I didn't hear anything. And someone said, hey, you need to get on video more. So that's why I started doing video more. And I did like once a week kind of thing. But I am going to do some like funny skits. Like I want to do like funny, like I want to do just like, I don't want to exactly give away the details, but just like funny office scenarios.
But that's something that you vibe with. That's something that seems like it would be part of your personality. So what do you think of the word authentic and influencer?
I don't know. I think influencer is like overrated, like the term influencer, because it's like, it's hard because what is there's not like a definition, right? Like, what the color
influence people,
So I think people kind of hold on to that definition too much, because the thing is, look at people and pick what's valuable from them, and don't throw out some other stuff, because oftentimes we look up to these influencers. You don't have to agree with everything they say.
Right.
You can disagree with someone. You can say, hey, I like this part about them, but I don't disagree. I disagree with this part of the message, because I think oftentimes we like hold them to a pedestal, and they're people, right? They make mistakes, and because another time. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people who I talk with and I see, it's like I saw a big influencer posted. She had like 742 DMs.
Wow.
It's like, and I get a lot of DMs from people, and some people just don't respect your time.
Right.
It's like, look,
they don't respect their time. I think that's where it starts.
So, and it's like they don't respect, because I had one person, like I was on a webinar with someone else who was running it, just like we help people give out career advice.
Yeah.
And he asked me, he's like, hey, I missed the webinar. What can I do? I was like, well, he might have another one, so just watch that. He was like, was it recorded? I was like, no. The guy asked me, he's like, can you write a summary of what went on? I was like, dude, like I hate writing. You want me to write a summary?
No, I got a tip for you. So you take your videos, take them to YouTube, and take the captions. And then the captions are your text. And then
that was meant more for like a private session, like a small group.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So
So but it was just like, I don't know. I would never have the audacity to ask someone like.
No. That's the other thing is so you get hit up with a lot of people who are like, I'm not finding a job. What do I do? What do you tell people like that? I mean, because I think a lot of time people are. What I would say is I think that a lot of times people are doing the same thing that they've always done. Like, I got like 1,000 resumes going out. I'm like, well, so does everybody else. I mean, I always say that I think that you should think outside the box. Like, even with us, what we're doing is people creating content, but how do you get past that noise? You have to stand out.
So that's why so you know how I launched the No Degree podcast. So the third episode is how to prepare for an interview. Because I got that because a lot of people are asking me, how do I prepare? How do I do this? So now it's like I can send that. And you know, the thing about a podcast is it's not as impersonal as sending them a blog post. That even if you wrote it, because they read a blog post in their own voice, whereas the podcast, they hear it in my voice. And then I tell them, look, if there's something that I still didn't answer, then ask me. And oftentimes what I do is I'll tell people, look, if you want me for a resume, I charge this much. But I'll look at the resume for like 2 minutes. I'll be like, send me your resume. I'll be like, look, these are the few points, issues. I'll be like, Google this. You need Google ATS resume, get rid of these things, and then you'll be in a better shop. So I'll do that. You know, kind of say, look, I'll give you a little for free, but honestly, like when I do a resume for someone, I sit with them for like 2 to 5 hours, and it'll be like multiple sessions. Because
it's a long time. You have to really wrap your head around who they are, what their message is, what they want to transcend to the their consumer. It's a lot.
And then the thing is, my goal is to teach them to write a resume, so I never have to work with the resume again. Because my goal is
teach them to fish, right? You gotta
teach them to fish. Because it's like I don't want to do the same resume like with the same person. I just.
And nobody does. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Because when somebody hires you, like with me, if somebody hires me to do a thing, I want to make sure that that I do such a great job that they end up firing me. And that means because they're doing so good that they don't need me anymore. And that means I do a good job. And that feels good.
Yeah.
I'm a contributor. So for me to see people grow, it's really good. I think that the biggest thing for me is I was such a cheerleader for everybody. I was pushing everyone around me, and I only started really pushing myself this year. When you push yourself, it's different. You really get to see things from a different perspective, and I actually get to help even my clients more, because it's like you said, learning and telling people about your struggles and the things that you overcame. That really, one, helps people connect, and two, that's probably what they're going through, and the fact that you speak to that makes you their savior, so that's awesome.
So someone had a question, if you don't mind me.
Let's do it.
Nick Norman said, did either of you struggle with the decision to embrace your own path of happiness, even if it was non-traditional? Did you struggle with that?
Okay, so yes and no. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always known it. I literally quit my job and we were all in, but struggling being happy, yes. And I will tell you why. It's because what I just said previously, I was pushing everybody else around me, and I wasn't taking that light or that push and that energy, and I wasn't focusing it on me. So I was getting really, really frustrated because what I could see and what I wanted to have happen wasn't happening because I was relying on somebody else to make it happen. It was my vision, and I was trying to make it their vision, but they never really, really, truly wanted it. I wanted it more. So I think what really made me really wake up and really stop trying to measure success. Like, as an entrepreneur, you're always running and chasing something. And what I realized, as an older entrepreneur, not just starting out, is once you get to where you're getting and you finally succeed, if that success isn't in alignment with something inside here, you're not going to really feel that success. You'll be like, okay, done, next. And an entrepreneur is always going to want to always keep growing, and that's something I think is a need inside of us, but it's also a thing, the way we elevate. And if you're succeeding and you're in alignment with what you want, and that's why I tell people, no matter if you're looking for a new job or you're starting a new career, make sure it's what you want. Because if you end up creating a life that you think you want and it's not, then you're still trying. You have to reinvent yourself again. So you might as well start the right way.
It's interesting. I give a keynote speech, since I'm a public speaker too, and the title is A Different Road, and I call it A Different Road, and it ties back into my company, where you have to travel on your own road. You can't travel on someone else's road Because if your parents want you to become a doctor or whatever, a lawyer, and you could become the world's best lawyer, world's best doctor, but if that's not what you wanted, because you traveled on someone else, you're gonna hate it. So, the thing is, the road is never gonna be straight. It's gonna be curvy and all that stuff, and it's a journey. But you gotta, you gotta travel on your own road. And I think, especially now more than ever, because the male suicide rate is pretty high. Because you'll see these guys, kids, families, perfect job, nothing, and it's like they're still unhappy and they have depression. And you're like, why could they be sad? Because it's like, look, they're not fulfilled. They don't feel like they're fulfilling their purpose, and you're right. That's a big issue.
And people don't get that because they're like, you have everything. You got everything I want. You're like, well, what is everything? So that's all about perspective. That's a really great question, Nick. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, and I'll answer it. I've never really struggled with happiness. In terms of recent years, I struggled with happiness maybe in high school, but I think that's because you're trying to figure yourself out. You're trying to navigate things. You're trying to learn things. I think like college, I really feel like late high school, I started reading books on like social interaction, and I started coming out of my shell. I started becoming more confident. And then in college, it was just like I really felt. And then you're always growing, you're always discovering. But I think for me, it's like I was always content with sitting. Like for me, it's like, look, I could live in a closet as long as I have a place to sleep and stuff. That's still good enough for me. And obviously, would I want to stay like that? No, but anything above that is just like I'm grateful for. But that doesn't mean I don't want to be super successful and all that. So I think one of the keys is like I'm always content. I'm always strategic too, right? So the thing is, it's like right now I drive an old car, but for me, it's like I don't need the newest car. I don't need the newest thing. Like all my phones, I always buy used. Right, it's just I'm happy and it's okay. I think
it's because they're doing what you want, and I think you see the bigger vision. I think that's really awesome. You also said something is grateful.
Gratitude. Yeah, I think gratitude just goes, and gratitude is it's a state of mind too, because look, I don't have the newest this, but you know what? It's like we're talking thousands of miles away in high definition broadcasting. It's like think about it. That's cool. That's freaking cool.
Really cool. It's really, really awesome. So the struggle is really real, but like every day, do you have those days where you're just like, why am I doing this?
No. I don't have those days. I have days like, once in a while you think of getting a job, right? Just because it's like, look, whatever, I could get paid this much, but
because
then look,
the job seems so safe. It kind of feels safe. What we're doing is very, very risky. Everyone's like, you're doing what you want. You get to work from home. I'm like, but I'm also like the one responsible for my money. Like if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to unemployment. I'm not, so there's a lot of risk in that.
But the thing is, I just think I hated corporate meetings. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than that. And I think of like, you know what? I'd rather make no money than ever sit in a corporate meeting again. Like you'd have to pay me so much money. And the thing is, it's like even going back, it's like I didn't like the structure. And the fact is, half my personality is useless in a corporate setting. Like me going on LinkedIn Live, my boss is gonna be like, "Well, why don't you finish the report?" Right? They're gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why are you on LinkedIn?" Like, you know what I mean? It's not beneficial, but for now, it is. Like now, I can make the impact. I could do all that. So it's like you'll always have like days where you think about that, but it's like anything worth fighting for. Like anything worth something is, you got to fight for it. It doesn't just come, hey, lands in front of you.
With your energy and your passion, it's really awesome because you guys are so young and you guys are doing and have this mindset. And that's what it is. It's that mindset. Yeah. Like, even though like some people would be like, oh my God, that's not okay. I'm not okay. You're like, I'm grateful. Why? You have that bigger vision and you're going after it every single day. Like for me, it's not really like the success. It's going after it and making this vision come alive. I love that.
I think that's what gets me going. The fact that, especially now, like a lot of people DM me like, hey, you know what? I don't have a college degree and I struggled, but I figured my way out. I love what you're doing. Is it, when you get those DMs and you get those messages like, hey, look, I love what you're doing. You're really impacting, or you want to help someone get more interviews, or you help, like everything I'm doing, fortunately, is like, it's helping people. So I'm super fulfilled.
Yeah. It's your gift. It's your duty. You have to do this.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I hope I don't have to go.
Let's tie this up. No, I know. It was just such a really great conversation with you. I could talk
No, the thing is,
for hours.
I could go. I don't mind. So let me tell you, I don't think the person's gonna join the call because he didn't fully confirm, and I'm hoping he doesn't join the call. But if he does, then I'll let you know.
Hold on
But
one second. What did you say?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm checking my black phone. So I've got LinkedIn on one phone. I got Facebook on the other one.
Yeah.
What do you think of today's perspective? What is more required? Intelligence or creativity? That's a good one.
I think, and I tell people, you have to figure out what's right for what you want to do, because in certain areas, creativity doesn't help you, right? Like if you're in corporate, creativity is not as helpful. But in my area, intelligence is not as important as creativity, right? Because there's some people who aren't smart. So I think a lot of times it's like you got to figure out what you need for your situation.
Yeah,
you got to
really aware. Yeah. So intelligence and creativity, I think that you need a balance of both. I think harmony in both of those is great. But sometimes being too smart.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to that because I got in a little bit late on personal branding. I've built websites. I've been on Facebook. I understand Facebook on the back end, but never on the front end. But so I was too smart. My thing is like, I'm not going to give Facebook my content and let them build a website. I'm going to keep it for myself. Too smart for my own good. I should have embraced it. I should have seen it as a platform, as another way to get my attention out there. So that's where maybe being too smart. So sometimes embracing something like, childlike or as a newbie is actually better. That's why a lot of you guys that are just embracing this, you're having so much success because you don't know, you're not trying to unlearn something. So that's where intelligence, I think, can get in your way. And creativity, you need it because it actually helps you become very strategic. It helps you look at things differently. I think creativity can be done in a few different ways. Yeah. But I think a balance of both. And like you said, if you're being too creative in a place where they want you to just be very intelligent and just do your job, then it's not aligned. Yeah. So
and I think, you know what I tell people? It's like when you have different skill sets, they multiply. So the fact is, if you're super intelligent but you have zero creativity, your intelligence multiplied by 0 in that role, right? It goes away. So you've seen it because even, and I'll talk about very smart people. It's like you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you make the wrong choice in a significant other, I'm pretty sure you've seen people just held back. Like they're the smartest people, but this one bad decision just sort of ruins the rest of it. So it's like
it will, and not only that, it'll ruin the rest of us, but that person too, because they think they're so smart. How did I get this wrong? And then they're stuck. So
So I think awareness is the crucial skill. Awareness, that's the skill.
Huge mindset and just staying in your own lane, like you said, because with all these influences and all this content out there, you're always thinking, I got to do this, I got to do that. And what you do, and it's funny because my daughter, she wants to be a YouTube channel. So I did a video there called Kidpreneur. I'm like, okay, sweetie, but you got to do the work, So because it's easy to just want, like everybody wants to be, I want to be famous, I want to be this, but there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, a lot of So a lot of people, I started a live show, 2 months ago, and it's doing relatively well. But what a lot of people don't get is it's that I didn't just start one day and I'm automatically good at live shows. Like I was part of a Toastmasters club for 5 years. And we grew it to the second largest club in North America. And through that, in the beginning, there was a lot of struggle where, speaker dropped out. I got to give a speech that I had in my head, and I got to give, or I had to take on like 3-4 roles in a meeting, and I never knew. And so it's like, it's through 5 years of like constantly talking, being comfortable with myself and that, so that when something else came, I was ready and I took a part. So it's like, a lot of times like people are like, your content does well on LinkedIn. How do you do it? And I was like, look, you know what? I've been reading about content since I was in high school, since like 2008. I've been observing people who do well. I've been reading about this. So then when I found a platform that resonated with my type of personality, that's when I was able to create the type of content. So it's not just that, you just do it overnight and it works. It's like it's like someone who, goes into real estate at 50 and automatically does well. They've sold other things. They understand the market, right? They didn't just go like, luck.
You can't. Right? You can't. You have to have some of those skill sets that you've built over the years. So it's like that iceberg effect, where nobody really sees how much underneath, they're like, oh my God, how'd she do it? And they just see, the Instagram life or whatever. And it's not that. It's a lot of work. And a lot of people don't make it. They don't make it.
it's,
Why?
it's
Because
true.
of the mindset every day. You know, every day is a choice. It's not like someone's paying us to be here, you know, most of the time when you're doing your startups. It is a choice. It is your mission. It's your passion. And yeah, it's just, I love that. I love entrepreneurs and I love helping them. Like my thing is, you know, helping entrepreneurs take their passions to the next level, you know, like actually being able to create an online business out of it, because that's what I've always done. I love creating membership areas and turning into affiliate programs, but not everybody can have that. Now I tell people that and they're like, I want a members area. I want an affiliate program. I'm like, but do you know what it takes to manage a members area and to cultivate a community and to, it takes a lot. So before you say, yes, that's, I want it, you need to know what goes into it and be willing to put yourself all in.
Yeah, and you know what? So many people, they want the end result, right? They want this end result, like, hey, you know, even when you look at athletes, they're like, yeah, you know, they're so lucky, but they don't get that they've been doing this since they were 8 years old. They probably don't know anything else.
They just want the tips. You know, just tell me the 5 things I need to do so I can be just like you, or I can have like success.
You know, that's why those articles like, oh, 5 things you can do to get rock hard abs. It's like, yeah, but you know, it's not just 5 things. It's 5 things that you have to do every single day for, you know, whatever.
Every day, consistently, yes. And it's funny because it's those headlines that usually get the most action. I'm always trying to think, I put a number in this. I'm like, I got it. But it's really just because people are looking for that quick way. And the thing is, it's a journey. It's a process. You got to be aligned with it. And that way you do it for not a certain outcome. You do it for yourself. Personal branding I grew through personal branding. Like even if I didn't get business out of it, like myself, I grew as a person, and that's huge. Even just for that reason.
Yeah, I think growth is super important as a person, because even now it's like, you know, the funny thing about growth and awareness is like you always think, you know, I'm at a good point, but you know, and then a few months from now, you're like, you know, I'm growing. So growth is a perpetual process.
Always. You're not going to get to an end point to be like, oh, I'm successful, this is it, and then you're like, now you're bored. You'll be bored. It is a perpetual. It's
So when'd you get on LinkedIn?
Okay, so for me, my story. Okay, so I'm a realtor. Like I am a realtor, a broker. Before that, I was, you know, entrepreneur, web designer. I was in the Forex markets. So I went all in. I bought my house at the wrong time, and that's when I decided to become a realtor. I was like, you know what? I didn't use my trader mindset to buy my property. I bought it because I was buying my dream house, right?
Yeah.
And then the markets crashed, and everything. My house went underwater, and I was like, no, I'm getting into real estate because you should not be buying your biggest investment with this type of mindset. And I really wanted to understand investments and investing in properties, and I got into probate. So that's really how I got in. And then I went to school one day. This is how I really started with personal branding. And there was a mom there, and friend of mine, acquaintance and stuff, and we were talking, and she's like, we're moving, I'm going to, you know, the Santa Barbara. And I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, we just sold our house. I'm like, I didn't even know you were selling your house. And she's like, I didn't even know you did real estate.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember leaving really mad, like not mad at her, mad at myself, because I'm a marketer. I do internet marketing, but yet nobody knew what I did.
What you did.
Because I'm not like a car salesman. We're like, I'm your realtor. Come. It's not me. I don't door knock. I do internet marketing. So I went home and I had like maybe 10 friends on Facebook. It was like, you know, family and friends. I like told my partner, which is my life partner, my business partner. And I was like, Ezio, I need more friends. I need people to know what I do. We do this. Like we need to do this for me and for us, you know, and we did it. And within a month I had like 5,000 friends, and it was really great. But engagement on Facebook was different.
Oh yeah, it was different.
It was different.
It was so high.
Yeah, and I was doing good, and it was good. But then I did my very first video on LinkedIn, and literally it's coming. My anniversary is Thanksgiving Day.
Oh wow!
I did a gratitude video. If you look at my very first post, it's basically gratitude, saying how you give thanks and how I was grateful to LinkedIn, because it was really the first time that I had ever written a resume. I have been an entrepreneur. I've never put down everything I did. So when I did it, I was there for a long time, and I was like, and I'm looking at it, and I was done. I was like, wow, girl, you did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt kind of proud, but you take things that you do for granted. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
And everyone watching here, you probably take the things that you do for granted, and you shouldn't, because it's those things. And that's how you know you're an expert. You know a little bit more than somebody else. You're an expert to that person. And so that's what happened with me. I got on LinkedIn, the engagement was awesome.
Yeah. And you know, that's the other thing that I tell people. So like I took a 100-hour course on Facebook ads. And, you know, I've observed Facebook, you know, I was sort of late to the game to that. But it's like, since I saw that and then I saw the opportunity on LinkedIn, I was like, oh, you know what? This is the time. And you know what? I actually do better on LinkedIn than I would have even done on Facebook at that time, just because Facebook, you're competing with consumer products, you're competing with a lot more industries.
It's a different people. I don't know. It's like it's even the same people, but it's just a different engagement. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, so that's why I played both platforms.
You know what it is? It's that people you can have the same exact type of content, but think about it. If you go to a bar and it has like, I don't know, healthy food and stuff, you're gonna be like, what? Like, you're going to a bar for like certain type of thing, you know, same thing. You're going to Facebook. For certain types of things, right? If you saw like reality TV on the History Channel, you'd be like, what? Because you're going in with a certain mindset. Versus if you saw like a documentary on, well, whatever the channels are.
Something that you're into, right?
Yeah. So same thing. It's like people go onto LinkedIn for a certain mindset. They're in a certain mood. People go on Facebook when they're in a certain mood. So it's like, I think that's a lot of people don't realize that. That's why it's like, I can't do LinkedIn type content. Like, I can't give job advice on Facebook. They're like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want that.
You can't. They definitely don't want that. That's for sure. You know, and even with me, like, I started just with like being, you know, mindset, because that's a really huge thing for me, is a mindset. And then the other thing is, like, I was doing a lot of content, but you know what happened is I started putting myself out there, because personal branding was just a journey for me. Once I did it, first it was like everyone knows me now. Now I'm like, ooh, I'm liking this. I'm doing this. I did content. I even put myself out there and started doing meetups. I did this badass, you know, entrepreneurs and realtors connect locally.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So listen to this. It was a horrible experience. Well, no, not a horrible experience. Let me rephrase that. So my first meetup, and I'm always off the cuff. So I actually do a presentation, and I make people come in. And so we're like 10 minutes into it. We've got lenders and agents there, and then this lender is just like getting uncomfortable. He's like fidgeting, and he's like, ugh. And I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, I don't know. This is starting to sound like a bad seminar. I was like, oh,
that happens.
I was like, really? I'm like, but this stuff works. I mean, you know, really. I'm like, so what do you want to talk about? And he goes, well, I want to talk about you and what you're doing. And I told myself, well, this is what I'm doing, but I don't apply it just to this. I apply it to all the other businesses that I do. And I told him I did, you know, blockchain. I'm in real estate, and I'm very into, you know, how blockchain is going to revolutionize the real estate industry. And that's what I want to hear about. So the next day I did a video, actually the same day at the place, talking about how horrible my meetup was and how it went a completely different direction. And then I just went all in on really telling people exactly what I was doing. So I was no longer creating content.
It's being content. Yeah.
I started documenting, like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I think. That got 10,000 views on LinkedIn within 24 hours. And I just went, whoa, that was me just actually talking about something that didn't go good, and how I course corrected, and how just being me. And that's where I really went, you know, this personal branding thing is huge. And it's not huge just for business, but it's huge for you personally, because you actually start connecting with the things that you are really in alignment with, and the things that I'm very passionate with. So something I was keeping off to the side and kind of keeping them segmented and separated, I can now bring all of that together. And it's me, the brand. And these are all the things that make me. And it might resonate with you or that person, but maybe not that person. But it doesn't matter to me, because I only want to work with the people who want to work with me.
Yeah, and you know, it's what you said is so important, because, right? Like, you're a realtor, right? Mm-hmm. So anybody, not anybody, but people, whatever, other people can do what you do, right? Other people can sell houses. Other people can broker houses. But the fact is, by having the personal brand and having that story, other people can't sell your story. Other people can't be you. So at some point, like, I don't mind paying some people extra or a premium because I know I like them, I like their mission, I like what they're doing, and I know they're gonna take care of me. And it's like you can charge a premium for that. So it's the difference of becoming a commodity or like a luxury good. And it's like, what would you rather have yourself be, right? You'd rather be a luxury good.
But it comes down to how much you value yourself, because I think a lot of people want to be luxury goods, but if they don't feel luxury good inside, it's really hard to sell that or convey that. So that's why this personal branding and working within is so huge. It's like it sets up a foundation. It's like, to me, that is your pillar. That is that is the main pillar that really builds up that confidence, that conviction. Because people talk about impostor syndrome. I hear that a lot, and I think because people are trying to do things.
Did you ever have it?
No, I didn't even hear.
I
never even really, until I heard about it. I really think it's not that. It's just when you do something that you're not used to, you don't feel confident.
Yeah.
So for me, that is the way that I always. That's the way I always. That's just mindset. As obviously, I'm something I'm scared of, something that makes me feel uncomfortable, and when that happens, much like you said, I lean in stronger to that. Even though it's scary, believe me. I mean, like, and even that feeling in your stomach, it's not fear. It feels like fear, but it's the feeling excited and ready to go. And that's why I tell myself, I'm not scared. I'm just feeling really excited and ready to go.
That's a good way. And I tell people who are scared when they're presenting, it's like your body has the same physiological reaction whether you're scared or you're excited. So you might as well believe you're excited, because your body, you can trick your body.
You can. Well, mindset and your mind, you can make yourself believe you're sick. You can make yourself believe a lot of things. Why not make yourself believe the things that are going to help you elevate yourself? You know what I mean? That's like, that's like building yourself. You have to, and there's so much negative stuff in this world. We're constantly being fed this disinformation and negative information. So I read a lot, a lot. And I know a lot of people are reading a lot more. And I think that is awesome. My kids, I tell them too, they're always on their tablets. I'm like, I'm reading. I'm like, no. I'm like, go grab a book. Go grab a book. I was okay. Do your audio, listen, consuming your book. Once in a while, just take a book.
It makes a big difference.
And sometimes reading those books with your own voice, sometimes you get that epiphany, at that right time, and it just sticks. That's why.
Because it's like when someone else tells you something versus when you figure out yourself. It's just one sticks with you.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a timing. Sometimes you've heard a thing 1,000 times, and then one day you hear it, and then you're like, I get it now. I get it. So it's a beautiful moment.
No,
I love
it
talking with you. We're gonna break LinkedIn right now.
Yeah. So any questions or what? I don't have to check.
Let's see. Great definition. People are liking it. Thank you so much, guys. I really hope you're getting value out of this. I mean, this is really important to me because I know a lot of people are trying to figure all this out. We all want to live the lives that we want. And, if you're working your side hustle and you've got your job, be all in, do your job, but and you have a side hustle, just do your greatest on your job and then be all in on your side hustle. Because one day, if you're passionate and you take this energy, this hustle, and this don't listen to anybody else, and you believe in it long enough, it will do something for you. And if it doesn't, you're building your brand equity, and that will never be something you regret. I guarantee that.
100%. Because the thing is, it's like once you build yourself and people know about you, even if you switch things, you switch what you do, you're not starting from zero, right? You're starting a lot farther than someone else.
Do you know Zach Scriven? Zach.
Yeah.
Big LinkedIn influencer. He's all in. That guy is like, he gets an idea in his head and he just goes for it. I just love your guys' energy. I do. So now he's gonna be a realtor now.
Yeah. I saw it.
So that's the truth. He can now take that, and he's already got, even through our live, he got one lead. He's getting other people reaching out to him because they like him. It's about knowing and trusting you. If I'm going, I don't know, if I'm in Arizona, I have to pick a realtor. I have to pick a realtor like you guys. I have to pick somebody that I know or like, or I know somebody that knows them. And so you can, with that brand equity, you can pivot and course correct because.
And a lot of skills also translate. What a lot of people don't get is a lot of the skills, because look, he comes in and his edges, he knows photography. He has the eye. He has the equipment for that. So he can do things right? Whereas a traditional realtor, maybe they have to hire a photographer, they have to work that, and they have to. Whereas he can see, oh, you know what, this type of house, I can shoot it this way, or I can shoot it that way, or I need this, or it would be best shot in this setting, right? He has that advantage.
He has that skill. Now, if he had just that skill and he didn't care about the real estate side of it, then that would be a misalignment.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The fact that he's going through this journey himself, he's learning the real estate, he's passionate about that, and he has this skill set. I mean, that's like perfect. Every realtor right now is trying to figure out how to become a marketer.
Because it's like, there's so many real estate. I think I forgot. I'm in New York City and Long Island. In New York City and Long Island, oh my God, there's so many. So it's like you have to set yourself apart.
Everybody's mom and brother and sister is a realtor. Like seriously, everybody knows somebody. But like I said, it's the biggest financial decision you're going to make in your life, and that's something you should put to not a glorified door opener, but a real estate advisor. You know, that's different. It's really changing, you know, the level. And that's when you put yourself out there, you give information and value to your clients or, you know, consumers. And it works. The thing is what we're doing, like this personal branding or corporate branding, this online branding, it works for any industry. It really does. It's a skill for life. I mean, it really is.
So, I tell people that you have to, like, obviously it's not the same how you would brand yourself as a realtor as something else, but like a lot of the principles apply. And then once you know it, it's just you. And you know, the funny thing is a lot of people don't get it either.
They
don't. You can tell them, because I've told a lot of people, like in my local group, I was like, get on LinkedIn. They still haven't got around to it. I was like,
my realtors are not on LinkedIn. Realtors are creating a lot of crazy content out there. There's a group of agents that I'm aligned with, because the way I'm aligned with video content creators on LinkedIn, I also have my real estate content creators. And they're pushing some boundaries over there, but they're still only a small group. And I'm trying to get them over on LinkedIn because I'm like, they'll like your content.
I don't know. I stopped telling people to get on LinkedIn. If they ask me, I'll do it, just because I've had too many conversations and
well, you know, nobody. You can bring them to the water, but they got to drink themselves.
So but that's now. So how long have you had live?
Probably around the same time you did, I think. Maybe I think I've been about a couple months too. I actually didn't know how long I had it because I honestly always am on this. You can only see that red dot when you're on your desktop.
No, you know it's funny. One day I looked at my desktop. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so you guys may have it. If you guys are on your mobile, check LinkedIn and see if you have this little red dot that says LinkedIn Live.
They send you the email like 2 days later.
I didn't even get an email.
I got the email. But it's good. So what are the what episode am I? Like how many times have you done this?
Okay, so I've been doing a lot myself because I've been working out how to just myself. So I've done 1, 2. So you would be number 4. So I can actually put it into a podcast now.
Cool. You know, funny thing is I have a wait list of my guests of like 15 people.
That's awesome.
And you know what? The thing is, it's like I'm so random with the lives. Like, you know, like you had like a sheet. I was like, oh man, like I saw this. I was like, wow, that's so professional. Like me, I got a banner like last live because I saw someone else. I was like, you know what, I should do this. Only because like my last live, I asked my friend, I asked someone, he wanted to go live with me. I was like, hey, you want to go live now? He was live. He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, when? I was like, now. He's like, oh yeah, you know, because I'm like random.
That's good though. If you plan too much, like even me, like we didn't have like conversations before this. We really didn't. And you know, even when we got on before this, like I don't like to talk a lot before we get on because sometimes I feel like we like you know you stuff that's like right in the beginning, you know. So that's like, are you ready? Let's do this. So I like things that are really organic. I think the problem with me with live is that because I was always doing videos and I could always edit. And I never script anything. I'm always like, blah, blah, blah. And then I edit. With this, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to look like a dork. And it just doesn't matter. I'm having fun.
Yeah, you know what's funny? A lot of like the super big influencers, they don't go live. And you know what my theory is that, because the thing is,
it was a little hard though. I think because at the beginning it feels a little disconnected. Like you're live, but like I it's hard to like. It was hard with engagement, and you feel like you're missing it. But that's why I decided, like, I don't know. I just really love collaborating with people, and I felt really lucky to get LinkedIn Live. And I know a lot of
same here.
So I really wanted to share it with people.
Yeah, I know. I tell people, they ask me how I got it. I was like, look, I'm just super active and this and that. And I was like, look, I got lucky too.
I was strategic. No, I was strategic. I knew it was coming out. My friends had it like way back, like in like early on. Like they were one of the first ones to get it. And I was like, oh, Jason, how'd you get that? I was like, oh, and he's like, this is what you gotta do. And I was on it. Like the thing is you have to be on it. You can't just wait for somebody to send you something with success tips. You gotta be going out there and you gotta be failing forward faster. If you are under 40, you should definitely be failing forward. If you're in your 20s, fail forward, make as many mistakes as much as you can. That's how you grow. It's okay. You are not your mistakes. Just stay the course with definitive purpose and course correct as you move forward. It's okay if what you decided to be isn't it. Pivot. Whatever you learned from that experience, take with you to the next experience. And that's how you grow. It's like a ping pong effect, you know? I see you guys, you're also young, and I'm just like, oh my God, they're like pushing themselves so hard. And for me, I'm like, slow down, enjoy the process, because you guys are doing awesome.
Yeah, no, and you brought up a great point about how make your mistakes, because oftentimes, like, and I tell people in school, you're not encouraged to make mistakes, right? You go fail like a class, it's like really bad. But in life, you're allowed to fail. You know, you make sure you recover and you understand why you failed and understand like what you can do better next time. But life is an open book test that you're allowed to fail multiple times, and it's okay, because when you pass that test and you know, it's not like a 0 to 100. When you succeed, it's like 1,000, right? So it's like, you know, you have to fail, you have to learn, you have to make mistakes, you have to try different things.
My boy is a pleaser and he always wants to do the best job. He always wants to be perfect. And I'm like, buddy, no. Hey, buddy, I want you to make a mistake or two. You know what? Go outside those lines. It's all right.
No, because that's where the magic happens, right? Because it's like
the most successful people, honestly, were people that were like told that they were never going to amount to anything. They were crazy in school and they couldn't keep them still. They weren't focused on anything. Those are the leaders, you know?
Because the thing is, you can't learn how to be a leader in school, because a leader is not as formulaic. It's not as this. It's like you sort of have to just adapt and grab life by the horns and kind of see opportunity and really set yourself apart.
Yeah, that entrepreneur mindset. A lot of colleges now are actually adding entrepreneurial centers attached to the colleges, so that once those kids actually get their degree or while they're getting it, they can actually start understanding that, you know, entrepreneurial mindset is a huge part of it, is actually doing the work and getting that work experience. I'm sort
of against that. You know why?
Work experience or the entrepreneurial centers?
Because the thing is, it's like an oxymoron. You can't have like a center of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, it happens around you. It's like when you walk into a coffee shop and you observe things, you observe how you got. I mean, it's like it's one of those things that's not formulaic. Like they have like people get like their masters in entrepreneurship, and I'm like, what's that?
I didn't know you could do that. I should definitely have that.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, do those people actually go on to? You know, it's like. At some point, there's like a trial and error. And yes, I'm not saying that they have zero value, but I think that at some point...
I'm not even saying if it has value or not value. I think the point I'm trying to make is find it interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It is interesting because here's this college. It's like, it wasn't about you being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing. It's about getting you ready for corporate America. But the fact that corporate America is changing a lot. And colleges are now noticing it, so I think that they're putting that in there as like, don't leave us yet. We still got you. We still got you. So that's me. I agree with you on that. Entrepreneurship is not something in just one little place. You know, it's something. It is all around you. It's actually something that's within you, and you cannot be taught to be an entrepreneur. You just can't be. You either are or you aren't. And if you can take those risks and you are, then you are. And if you're not, you're going to be out in 3 years with a normal job.
I would say that you can grow up around it. You know, I would say that's if there's a way to cultivate it, you can grow up around it.
That is a good point. That is very true, because I believe that's happening with my kids, because they could be grown up with a different family, but being around us who work from home all the time, they will understand that. So you can cultivate it.
It just takes longer.
But you can't force it. It has to still be something, but there still has to be that spark. It still has to be something within you that you cultivate. It's like having a seed in there, If there's no seed in there, you can't plant it.
Yeah, so I think you can plant it, but they have to water it.
Yeah, exactly. We're so funny. Now we're getting to botanical gardens.
No, I mean, a lot of plant analogies, life, food, and whatever, those analogies, they work because it's like, that's how it is. It's like you plant the seeds and you let it go, and then they have to figure out like, hey, how do I grow this and how do I do this? And yeah.
You need to know, being a practitioner is great. I'm getting to the point where I need to start outsourcing and getting people to help me. But I really love the fact that I know everything that I do. That's why I'm able to do it all, because I know how to do it. I work a lot, but now I know when I hire somebody, I know what it's worth.
Yeah.
Okay? I know that I'm not getting, screwed because I know what it takes. You know? So I can get things done more efficiently that way. So
no, and I think
I know. I'm like, how long have we been on?
I don't know. It's been like an hour.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Don't worry. I routinely do an hour, so an hour. Like my short ones are an hour. So
no, this is a good conversation. And that's why I like the lives, is because I would never be able to get an hour long conversation out there that's just candid and unstructured and just fluid, and real.
Yeah, it's just not the same. It's like, oh, cut that out. Oh, cut this out. Cut this out.
Do you ever go and watch your LinkedIn lives like afterwards?
No, maybe if I have to watch a little piece, but I look at my
I sometimes do, only because I want. The only way you can comment to the people in live is like the stream. You have to do it from desktop though, right?
Yeah, you can do it desktop without watching.
Yeah, not from mobile. And when I'm like, I'm like, I like to engage like within the first hour, and I'm like, it's so hard.
Yeah. So
it's important.
Do I watch?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. When I watch, and the thing is, it's like my girlfriend will watch and she'll comment, so I'll get all the critique. I'll get all the critique I need from her.
I don't think I'm getting to a point where I can't, because we're lots of content, and I'm hoping to do it 2 or 3 times a week. And I just really want to talk to, people like you, entrepreneurs, and figure out what your struggles were, how you overcame them, and what your plans are, so that other people can actually go, okay, maybe that can help me too. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons. So I launched a No Degree podcast on nodegree.fm, and I interview people without college degrees and have them share their stories. And my motivation was that a lot of people, like school, you know how to become a doctor, lawyer, and all these traditional careers. It's like, how do you become a plumber? How do you become a welder, an electrical contractor? How do you become? I have one guy, and he has a VR company for real estate. So if someone's for like high-end homes, you could view the homes in VR, and he sets up, takes a shot, and that's like a big thing that's happening. And the drone videography. So it's like, how did he start that? What was his idea? How did he realize it was going to take off? So, you learn so much from stories of people and how they did it, the mistakes they've made, and the different companies.
I mean, half the books that we read are basically experiences from other people that have made mistakes and created success. And we're trying to figure out that formula from it. And from hearing it from like a Grant Cardone, it's awesome and it's great. But hearing it from real people, it makes it more accessible. It makes it more like, because at
the highest level, because their images are very crafted, right? They control. For me, it's like, I don't know, it's too much work to craft an image. It's easier to just be myself.
And honestly, you should just be yourself.
Yeah.
It's easier, and it's because it's funny. It's the things that are usually the most simple are the things that people don't do because they think it has to be more complicated.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I tell people, just because something's simple does not make it easy. People confuse simple with easy. It's simple to eat well and go to the gym and be super fit. It's not easy. So, right?
It's true. It's all perspective. It's all about perspective. It's funny.
Yeah. So, because something could be complex and easy too.
Yeah.
Right. If there are processes, I'm pretty sure like daily routines that are complex that you do it and it's easy but there's some simple things like, not having that donut when it's in front of you. Like, that's hard.
That's hard. That's why you need to be a badass and have your big goal in mind. That's so funny. Well, thank you so much for going live with me. I really appreciate it. And if you ever want me to go live with you, let me know. I guess you want to put me on your waiting list.
I'll let you cut the waiting list. So cool.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. It's great seeing you.
Let's stay in contact. Let's keep this going, on and offline. I really enjoyed this conversation. Cool. Guys out there, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.